Accomplice liability in criminal law. Accomplice liability can be very straightforward. It is not as complicated as a lot of people make it out to be. Okay? Accomplice liability can be a little confusing with conspiracy. I had this problem. However, after this short video, you should be able to comprehend accomplice liability fairly easily, whether you're in law school or not. So under the common law, which I placed in blue, the common law has a person who aids another to commit a crime into three different categories here. We have before the act aider, at the scene aider, and after the fact aider. And under the modern law, as you can see at the bottom, is simply just called an accomplice. So if you're dealing with a jurisdiction that is dealing with accomplice liability, the modern law does not really care about whatever time and place the crime was committed in terms of the person aiding the other to commit the crime. That person is just simply called an accomplice. However, under the common law does care about the time and place and the specifics about what was happening, because that can really make or break the category on where that person stands. So let's walk through this. Under the common law, we have before the act aider. An example of before the act aider is, let's say that my friend Israel wants to help my friend Riley commit a homicide. Israel knows that Riley wants to kill another person. And before the day of Riley wanting to kill another person, Israel places a gun at Riley's bedside. And Israel knows that Riley would use a weapon such as that in order to end the life of another. Israel places the gun at his bedside, and Israel sneaks out of Riley's bedroom. That is an example of Israel helping Riley, aiding him, before Riley commits the homicide. If Riley goes through with the crime, kills another person, let's say he kills our friend Wade, that will classify Israel as an accomplice under the modern law, and that would categorize Israel under a before the act aider under accomplice liability in criminal law. Very simple, because he aided Riley to commit the crime before it happened. We have at the scene aider with the case that recently just happened with George Floyd. We all know that case, right? One of the cops killed George Floyd by placing his knee on Floyd in order to end his life. And there were three other officers who aided him in order for that homicide to be completed. And as you can see, they were there in order to restrain Mr. Floyd and also to prevent others from intervening in. Moreover, those three cops did not make an effort at all in order to stop Derek Chauvin, the police officer who killed Mr. Floyd, in the scene, right? Therefore, they are at the scene aiders because they were the ones who were at the scene of the crime when it happened, and they aided Mr. Chauvin in order to end Mr. Floyd's life. That is why they'll be classified as at the scene aiders, because they were at the scene of the crime when it happened, and they aided that officer in order to end Mr. Floyd's life. So let's get into after the fact aider. After the fact aider is when, let's just say that my buddy Kevin kills our friend Susie. Let's say that happened. This is an example. And Kevin comes over to my house and tells me exactly what happened, detail by detail. And I know that Kevin killed Susie. And I said, hey, Kevin, I'll help you out, buddy. Come over to my house, stay in here for a couple weeks, and we'll find a plan in order for yourself to get away from law enforcement so you can get away with this crime. That is an example of an after-the-fact aider. I will become an accomplice in that situation, and I'll be the after-the-fact aider because I helped Kevin after he committed the crime. That's why it's called after the fact. and I'm still an aider because I helped Kevin stay in my home, and I told him that, hey buddy, I'm going to help you out for this period of time in order to get away from the cops. And under the common law, I'll be guilty of aiding future crimes and also guilty of aiding Kevin in that situation. So I'll be liable for those two things. And again, under modern law, you are simply categorized as an accomplice. So remember, under the common law, before the act, at the scene, and after the fact, aiders. Before the fact is when someone helps another before the crime is committed. Remember, Israel helping Riley commit a homicide by placing the gun at his bedside before Riley commits the crime. At the scene, aiders is when those three cops helped Chauvin commit the crime at the scene when Chauvin was actually committing the crime itself. After the fact is when I helped Kevin, after Kevin committed the homicide of Susie, to stay in my home to get away from law enforcement. That is accomplice liability. I hope this cleared things up for you studying criminal law or those who are just curious on what accomplice liability truly means. If you have any questions, comment below. Thank you.